Well, welcome to Cord Art. I want to try and make one of these Christmas trees today. Quite a few people online have said that they like them. How do you do them? My return was that they're quite basic, but I will go through the sequence of making one of these. Three different knots there. There's the cobra. You can see that the cone is still inside on that one. Yeah, the cone is still inside on that one. We did a snake knot one, and I managed to pull the cone out. That's really the only reason that I can actually make this tut, because I've got a rather tatty cone. Now that cone has got a 2-inch diameter base, and it started off at 4.5 inches high. Lost a little bit on top when I was using that one, and then we got the Zipper Zenit. I like it, but it didn't turn out as well as I like, because the lines aren't so distinct as the Cobra. Now, you find me run out of green. I haven't got any green left as such. I've been making quite a few Christmas decorations for a fair I'm going on, so if you can stand it, I'm going to make this one out of red and white. So let's push on with it. We've got this cone 2 inches in diameter by 4.5 inches high, and the idea is to make like a cobra bracelet that we can actually wrap around the base of it. Now, how do we attach the ends at the back? So far, rather badly. Very nice to have a look at this Christmas tree from the front, but what I've done at the back is just more or less stitched it together. Doesn't look the best. If we go to the Cobra that we're going to actually make, not a lot better really, but the reason for that is the core is joined on each bracelet. I think there's a better way of doing it than that. Rather than using the core to to glue them together, a better way would be to use the actual weave to weave in from one side of the Cobra to the other side of the Cobra. So I'm going to have a go at that this time, but I'm going to be dipping in and out of this, because basically what it's doing is tying loads and loads of Cobra knots, and you can jazz it up by sort of going completely green, and then a stopper knot, which is, well, a doubled stopper knot with green and white, then a single stopper knot, or you can go the whole hog and make a little star. Didn't want to do that on the rest of them, took too long. So what do we need to start our first? I had to check this out, because I thought 20 inches of white, 20 inches of red joined together will make a Cobra big enough to go around there, make a bracelet to go around there. Well, I got halfway round and run out, so I know that the bottom one is 40 inches of red and 40 inches of white. Now I've joined those together there, so I'm going to actually now grab hold of a piece of 20-inch red, because I want, let me think about that, I wanted the red on the outside, but I'll still use this as a core. I mean, thinking about it, white would have been better, but you can choose. So with the core like so, halved over and got a loop, we're going to place, well, it's 80 inches long now, was 40 inches of each colour. Now, if we place that behind the core, what determines what's going to be on the outside and the inside is which one you start off with. Now, I want the red on the outside, so if I lay the white over the core, come round, looks as though the white's going to be on the outside, but it won't be. Come round and up through, tying that Cobra knot. So I was interrupted then, but red and white behind the core, just behind the loop. Let the white straddle over the core. Bring the red around the white and up underneath. I'm not going to show you all these Solomons, but it's just a matter of getting the red on the outer. If you lay the white across, then hopefully we end up with red all the way along. Right, so not that side, start that side, white over again, bring the red around and under, and that lets you have the red on the outside with the white in the center. Now I'm going to continue that to about the right length, then I'll come back and show you what we do next. Thanks. Well, welcome back. Here we are. I've got it to just about the right length. If we have a look at there, you can see that that's where I started. There's the little loop there. The ends that came out of here I've cut off and melted. Now I didn't do that in the others. I actually bent those back round and back through that loop, pulling it together. But that's what gives us that rough finish on the back. So at the moment I'm just trying to work out, once we've pinned that into position, just like so, got some dodgy pins in here, got super glue on them. Just take it round the former, i.e. the cone, bent that one, take that one out, put another one in. And as you can see, we come round to that small loop. Now whether we actually take that small loop off and melt it, be determined what I can do now. With these two and a fid, I'm hopefully going to go either through the loop, see what that looks like, bringing it together, or again bringing the white up through one of the white parts of the bracelet and the red up through the red part. So I'll play around with that for a moment and I'll come back to you. Right, I've been playing around with this for a little while now, and what I've done is the two ends, working ends, now actually have been fed through a very small loop which I left at the other side. So they both come up through that loop, yeah? And then what I've done is gone, pulled it tight, it's like so it's the right size. And then I've fed the red one up through underneath that red one, the white one up underneath that red one. So if we do that, I think it finishes it off much better than what I've achieved before. Just get this fid on. So we've come through the loop, pulled down on the loop, so they're nice and tight. The red one's going to go up through that stitch there, like so. Hopefully we can see that, just like so, yeah. Pulling that one tight. Fit onto the white. Now we're going to take it up, make sure it's tight, and lose our place otherwise. Then up through this side red stitch. Now with a bit of manoeuvring, that looks a lot more acceptable to me if we just cut those off now and, well, singe them. A lot better. But that's, I mean, you can finish them as you wish, but it's just a matter of making the best of a bad job, to be quite honest. So there's our two ends. Let's just give them a little bit of a singeing. I've cut them a little bit close, like so. We can then place it onto the cone. That's the back end there. It's never going to be perfect, but it sort of closes the gap. The way that I've done it closes the gap a lot better than if you look on here. You can see the cone through that one. But it depends on the finish that you want. So we've got that on there now. I'm going to stick a few pins to make sure it doesn't shift. And I'm going to make another one of these cobras, and having in mind it's going to be a slightly shorter distance around the actual cone, I'm going to cut two 37-inch pieces to go up the neck. It might be a bit too long. I don't want it too short, obviously. The core will still be about 20 inches long until the core will decrease in need as we go up higher. But at the moment, the next one I'm going to do is join a red and a white together, 37 inches long. You can determine how long these cables need to be, these cords need to be, by what you actually cut off at the end. I mean, I've cut off, what, 4 or 5 inches, but you need something to work with, so that's why it was 40. I know that about 35 goes around this. But I'll do the next one and I'll come back and we'll fit it together. Hope you got some super glue. So second portion, another 20-inch piece of red, 37 inches of red and 37 inches of white joined together. Place it under the loop with the white to your right, yeah? Let the white straddle the core, like so. Bring your red around the white, under the core and up through the loop there. And that will give you the red outside. Just do the opposite if you don't want the red outside. If you want the white outside and the red inside, so be it. So there's that small loop I'm leaving again. It's best not to pull too tight where you've joined it because you'll snap it off. But there you go, there's our first Solomon knot. We go round here, under, through, and we're off again. So just keep tying the knots on the white. So the white over, tie the knot, the white over, tie the knot. When I've got it to the right length around the cone, I'll come back to you. So there we are. That's the second one. Now I've just offered that to it. It seems to wrap around nicely. One tip I would give is if your stitch, your last stitch, is just a little bit short, always give it one more so that they join together. Now we've got that like so. I've got my loop this end, even though it's twisted slightly. So we're now going to cut off these two core ends, like so. Melt that over. Do the same as what we did before. I don't think I actually showed you. So we've got it like so. We're going to pass both of these through that loop with the aid of a fid. Now, that was a 37 joined to a 37, and I suppose we've got 4 inches left on each side to work with. So you can diminish. I mean, the first ones were 40, weren't they? You can diminish, but don't diminish too quickly, because you'll find that, oh, you'll be saying, oh, I used that on a higher one, which I have done. So let's get this through the loop. Like so. And then we'll bring the red one through also. I do think these look nice, these trees. There was one online last night which had red lines going down it in 4 places, and I thought that looked excellent, looked really good. So now we've pulled both of those through that loop. We won't get rid of our fid yet. We'll just check on the back. Yeah, a little bit loose if anything, but if I was to have missed one stitch, then it would have been too tight and there'd have been a gap. So it's a matter of playing around, really. So we've got it up through that loop. We're going to take the red one, as we did before, up through that stitch on the side, keeping the tension all the time. On both of them. Put the fid onto the white and bring that up through the other. Let's give this, well, very close. Can only just about get it up through that red stitch. Pull tight. It's about the same as the other one. Not perfect, but better than what I was doing before. Yep. And we'll just cut those 2 off. Heat them up. Like so. That feels a lot better than what I was doing before as well. Slide that one over. I get the joints more or less together, so you've got a back end and a front end. You could actually put all these joins in different places and put some little balls over the joins if you wanted to. I thought about that, but no, it's too much effort for me. So we've got the bottom one pinned. I'll stick a few pins in the next one up. Don't want to go in. It's got glue on it. That one's bent. That's a needle. So we'll put this one in. I've just bent that one, never mind. It'll still go in. So we got it to there. Now nothing gets away from me. Not that one. Touch of super glue. Now you could layer these up there without super glue and just leave it. But I've got an idea that what I'd like to do is the same as this one, and take the cone out. And then if you take the cone out, you can get one of these little tea lights and place it underneath. Doesn't show up in this light, but in the dark or in the eve, it looks really quite nice. Hopefully I can do it with this one. So what I'm going to do now is just give it a liberal amount of super glue where one touches the other, more or less all the way round, so that it supports itself if I do take the foam out. Just make sure you keep it squashed down. And then I'm going to work my way up the cone, obviously getting smaller and smaller in lengths of cord, but exactly the same as what I've just shown. And when I get to the top, I'll come back to you. Okay, well, welcome back again. This is the last bit of this tutorial. Not looking too bad along the back, compared with what I've done before. A bit better, a lot smoother. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the sizing of those was 2 bits of 40, 2 bits of 37, 2 bits of 35, 32, 27 and 24. Yeah, join together, do the Solomon's dragon, glued them together as you saw how I actually put them all together at the back. Last one I've decided to do in red. Now that's 15 inches long, that one. Of course the cores are changing size slightly, but all you have to do is wrap a piece of cord around the actual circumference of it and see what size, give yourself a bit extra and off you go. So I've done this small red one, yeah. I've cut the ends off of here, gone through the loop with the 2 outer edges, and now what I want to try and do, it's a bit fragile, what I want to try and do is feed these through those. Now the only problem is I haven't left myself enough line, so if we just poke it up through to begin with, through that one there, grab hold of the right cord, which is that one, and put it onto the thread, something like that. I don't want to lose it at this stage, so let's just make sure it's on there. Bring that one up through. Now we're going to have to do the same with the other one. Bring that through that last stitch. You might think, oh, he's good at getting through stitches. This fid has actually been through these stitches already as preparation. Right, now hopefully that one's going to come up through, yes. So we've got to there. Got to make sure that the whole thing is pulled together, so I'm pulling down through that loop again. Trying to get it as square as I can and as close as I can. It's about as best as I'm going to get it, I think. Something like that. Little donut. Right. So we cut and cinch. Like so. You've got an option here which way we actually put it round. Just see which way it fits on best. That doesn't look too bad at all. Going to need a fair bit of super glue to keep this into position. So we'll just work our way round. It's nice to think that if you get all the cords glued together when we take all the pins out, which I've left quite a few at the bottom, you could probably take the cone out. It's not too bad at all. I think that's starting to look the part now. I've done a little bit more work behind the scenes, and that is to tie a double diamond knot or stopper knot in white. That one, yeah. So we're going to stick that on top. Liberal amount of super glue on that one. That sort of fills a gap, doesn't it? Yeah. And you could just leave it like that, but I fancied another little single cord stopper knot on top of that one. Always want to be aware about the front faceage. I mean, no one really wants to show the back end. That's the back end. Want to show the front end. So it wants to be square to the front end. And that's just about it. I've given you the dimensions. I've given you the cone shape and size. I'll just pull these last few pins out while I'm online, because they're not needed. I think I'll leave the cone in this one. I've used this cone twice now, and I think it is actually keeping the shape. Unless it falls out, I'm not going to try and get it out, but it just levers out from the bottom, and then you can put the little tea light in if you wanted. I think that's all the what's it? Yeah, that's all the pins out now. And I thought, you know, what else can we do? Now, I've just made a little bow. Now, if you want to see how to make those bows, they're really easy. They're on YouTube, how to make a bow. So I'm not going to do a demo on that one. And I'm only going to pin this on because it's not a permanent feature. Not until I've decided. So there we go. It does look good though, doesn't it? Well, all that's left is for me from Cord Art to say Merry Christmas.